Hey everybody, Blind Wave back. I'm Aaron.
I'm Eric.
And we
AKA Zoom. And you're Flash, right? Or something?
No, I'm not. Oh, what are you talking about? I'm Aaron. I don't have a mask on.
I can sense Speed Force, Aaron. You're something.
You know, no. What's that?
It's...
What do you do with those? No,
not that. I take your Speed Force.
Give me. All right, but we're back here with some Flash Q&As.
Yes.
Last episode was Return of the Reverse Flash, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting. It was an episode. Anyway.
Why is that interesting?
No, it's just cool. It's neat that he came back. You know, I thought he was dead, and there was no way he was ever going to be around ever to anyone and stuff. Anyway, we have questions and stuff. It's red!
All right, what do we got, Aaron?
Q&A from Baker Solet. When do you think Wally's going to get at speed?
Never. He's already got speed. He can drive.
That's true, I guess.
1 mile at a time.
Yeah. Bakar Saleh? I don't know how you say that. But anyway, yeah. I don't know when he's going to get it. I don't know. I mean, he drives fast now, but he doesn't have speed force.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. I think it's when Zoom dies. The Reverse Flash says, do you think that the Reverse Flash returns in a future episode?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have to, yeah.
I mean, he now has the idea, at least, that he killed Barry's mom.
True, but is he going to just jump straight to that? Or is he going to come back and try to fight Flash when he's weaker? You know? But like in the same kind of time period?
Well, Barry has to be prompted, or future Barry has to be prompted to also go back and fight him, because they were fighting in that room before she was killed, and then past Barry, for us, this is confusing, past Barry for us went back and then he stopped him, right?
Yeah, he's like,
so there needs to come a point where Reverse Flash and Barry are fighting throughout time and end at that point, or something like that.
They have to be fighting, or Barry has to find out somehow that the Reverse Flash is going there. Reverse Flash can't just go there.
But to be fair, I mean, he already knows he's going to be there, so at any time Barry could just go back to fight him. But there could be another Flash.
I guess it's true.
Wouldn't it be crazy if we found out Barry goes back in time and he's fighting with Zoom, he's like, shh, you know, and he's about ready to, like, now I can save her. And then other Flash is like, shh, don't do that. Damn it!
Like he's watching her talk to him again. Yeah. Like he's crying and sad. Oh, it's terrible. Kyle Acton. Who else thought Zoom was the only thing missing from this episode? We had a bunch of speedsters, past, present, and future. We had Barry Allen, Jay Garrick, Wally West, Ebot Thawne, Hunter Zolomon, but no Zoom. Why?
Because there's already way too many speedsters. Even just bringing in Hunter Zolomon, yet another, you know, and it could just be an Easter egg. It could just be, yeah, there he is. It can't work. By the way, his name's Hunter Zolomon, and we're all like, oh, funny, you know, or oh, it's Zoom. I mean, immediately everybody's like, hey, he's Zoom, you know.
Yeah. I think it's just an Easter egg misdirect type of thing.
I think it is. I think a lot of this is misdirection with a lot of different characters, but my money is still on Earth 2. Henry Allen.
Yeah. Earth 2? Yeah. That's what we thought before, because of the whole Arrow thing, I think, is what kind of put it over for me. Tumbleweed. Could Harry use some sort of turtle DNA mixed with Velocity 6 serum hybrid to use on someone with Speed Force, like Jay or Barry, to take out Zoom? It could also bring back Jay's speed, while at the same time slowing down his disease.
Okay, I mean, he could just use Velocity 6 or Velocity 9 or whatever it's gonna be. He could just use that on a speedster in general to help.
Yeah.
But what was he doing with the turtle DNA?
Yeah. He was like putting them cells together and seeing if they combine.
Yeah.
But like, would that give him both powers?
My immediate theory is that it's kind of a play off of Silo from Heroes that does something with the brain and then learns the power.
Man.
But I'm sure it's not that. But could this somehow give Earth 2 Wells a power?
What if somehow it gives Jessie Quick her power? Something happens and she gets it.
That could happen. I mean, we think that could be Jessie. I mean, they've called her Jessie Quick, but isn't her father Johnny Quick?
I don't know.
I think so. Plus Tom Cavanaugh. I mean, Tom Cavanaugh only took this role because they told him, like, they were like, hey, we want you for this part for this Harrison Wells. He's like a scientist. He's disabled. He's like, I don't know. I mean, you know, Flash, I think there'd be a lot of roles in there. I don't want to do that. Mm-hmm. They're like, you're Reverse Flash. And he's like, oh, yes. You know? But now that he's not Reverse Flash, he's a scientist again.
But he's cool, though.
No, he is. Don't get me wrong. He's awesome.
He shot a shark, Eric.
I know he did, Aaron.
Why would you down him?
But.
Oh, wait.
they could be like, this is production wise, they could be like, well, yeah, I mean, you don't have your power anymore, and you're not Reverse Flash now. We know another guy does that. We're gonna give you another power. It's gonna be cool. All right, don't worry about it. He's like, all right.
We're gonna make you another speedster. We're gonna make you the opposite speedster.
Yeah. So that was just my thought. So if that's the case, if he is gonna be a speedster or the opposite of a speedster, a turtle, give him a better name, but a turtle power. Teenage Mutant Turtle Power. Yeah, that could happen. I could see that happening. Now, the whole thing about will it be able to mix the speed, so not only can he slow down on people, but he can also run fast? Because that's kind of what he was doing with those cells. Like, didn't he, like, put them together and then they multiplied or something? I don't know. Maybe he's using it to just solve the Velocity 6 problem.
What if it... This one's maybe a little bit more off the wall, but what if it negates Speed Force, you know? Makes Zoom lose his power. Then Jay can't get his Speed Force back and he dies too.
I don't know. I guess that'd be okay. I mean, I don't think Harry would care about it.
Yeah, like Jay has this disease, he can't get away, so he dies. They end up defeating Zoom by getting rid of his powers. Yeah. And now, I mean, we're saying all of this because we're already immediately dismissing the fact that he's going to use this against Flash. At least I am. Yeah.
I completely think that he said to Zoom, I will help you take the Flash's speed. There is no way in hell that Harrison Wells, that had that amazing speech while he was killing the turtle, like, if you hurt my daughter, I will kill you. And he's not talking to Flash there. He's talking to Zoom. Mm-hmm. So I automatically dismissed that the whole cell thing was something to attack Flash. Yeah. It's definitely something to either help Flash enhance himself or kill Zoom.
Well, I mean, the Flash is just there to help him stop Zoom anyway. You know, he doesn't want Jesse to get hurt or die.
Exactly. Yeah.
So there's no reason like on the way I can do it. I gotta. Yep. There's nothing promising that Zoom's gonna stay on his word anyway.
Absolutely not.
You know, that's how bad guys are. Just don't trust him.
Yeah. Anyway. I mean, the only person I would trust right now would be like Damien Dark, because at least he was like 2 weeks.
He's the honor.
Yeah.
Right? He has like honor to him.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
And whenever he puts whenever he's at an auction, he fires his gun in the air.
Boom. All right. Onion Knight says Q&A. Why you guys so fucking awesome? Keep up the good work.
Why are we so fucking awesome?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm confused because I know I'm awesome, but I never thought you were.
What?
What? I'm just saying, I'm a speedster.
But
you're not a speedster?
Patrick Lola. No. Lola. Hey guys, this is kind of far-fetched theory, but do you think it's possible that Wally may already have his speed? There hasn't really been anything hinting at it, but I remember back in Arrow Season 3 when Ray and Cisco are locking away the metahuman who shoots energy beams from his eyes, they discovered that the particle explosion did in fact affect people outside Central City. Just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this.
Well, the particle explosion didn't affect people outside Central City. I thought they meant that he had gotten his powers another way. That it wasn't connected to the particle explosion.
That it was just powers. Like Damien Dark has powers, but it wasn't because of the...
Out there are other people with powers. Now, we've talked about before with the Speed Force, I think that you already have the ability to use the Speed Force. You just have to have it supercharged for it to kickstart. Like getting hit by lightning or particle accelerator or whatever. Right?
But wait, Barry had both happen, didn't he? Didn't Barry hit himself?
I mean, there's a story in the comics that Barry is actually the lightning that strikes him. He goes back in time. He's running so fast that he actually becomes a lightning bolt that hits him, that makes him become the Flash, which is crazy. But yeah, so I don't know if there's no evidence that he already has his speed. I prefer it not to be the case. I like the drama they're going through now. I don't want anything extra right now.
True.
Work on that, and then Wally's just there for endless story potential. I don't want to pick up in the middle of it.
You know, one thing we haven't seen for a while is Harrison Wells' little, hey, you have powers meter thing.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We don't really need to yet. I mean,
I suppose not.
Harrison didn't come to the party, so he doesn't know anything about Wally West, and Wally West doesn't know anything about
Harrison.
The labs.
Flash. Ezekiel Franco, do you think Cisco using his powers can be dangerous for his health? Or this was just a one-time thing because he was being changed in the timeline? I think watching the future shouldn't be a thing that he could do without having consequences to himself, or at least reality. What are your thoughts?
I don't think it'll be dangerous to his health because the only reason he had his nosebleeds and all that stuff was because they had captured Reverse Flash and the timeline was going crazy, right?
That's what I think it was. I don't think it was because of his powers. He's used his powers before. I mean, I guess he didn't see the future. This is the first time, but I think his powers are just manifesting. He's starting to learn to control them. They capture Reverse Flash, screw things up. And
he had, the very first time I did it, he had seen a parallel universe, which is pretty awesome. And then he was seeing the past, the present, and now the future. As long as it doesn't become so OP where he can just see anything he wants, like maybe he has to have some kind of
something to touch or something
to touch or some kind of investigating ability, or I mean, you could like maybe the further he tries to look, the worse side effects could be. You know, maybe you could do something like that. I don't know.
It'd be neat to see him see something in the future, and then they do something and it changes it, and then they expect it to happen.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen. You know.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. He like develop his powers and they end up like being clouded, like the dark side clouds the Jedi's abilities to the future because the Legends of Tomorrow are screwing up the timeline so much.
Oh, you could do something like that. That'd be interesting. Yeah, they tie it in more.
That would be really cool.
Tara Craft Q&A. How do you think Harry's gonna steal Barry's speed? Do you have an idea how he would do that, or Harry could be a dick and not care about Zoom? Hashtag Erica Zoom. What?
Well, he never said that he was gonna steal Barry's speed. He said that he was gonna help. Zoom still
speed him up, right? Yeah. You want to make him faster.
Yeah, they wanted to make Flash faster so that I could help you steal Flash's speed.
And then thus Zoom can get faster.
But I don't think that he's going to. I think that he's going to use that as bait. Maybe possibly Barry as bait. I could see him definitely doing that. Maybe even like holding the sacrifice on the altar and then stopping it, you know? I could see that happening.
Yeah, I wish he would tell them, but obviously he hasn't. So there has to be a little bit of conflict there of what he wants to do. But
I think he knows Zoom too well. Zoom knows things that he shouldn't know unless he's like keeping tabs or following them or something.
The thing he needs to do is just he needs to make Barry faster, but he makes him fast enough so that he's faster than Zoom. You know, that he can't be defeated. Justin Smith. So Patty is also a cop. I find it weird that Barry didn't think of that when she called him. Wouldn't it have been better just to say, "Come to the train, we need to talk"? Well, it was all a ploy for her, though.
Yeah, it was a ploy.
I do think Barry should have realized it. Why call the forensic scientist guy who, for no reason, call Barry? Like, call Joe. Call the police department.
I mean, you got a point. Like, she's a cop. You don't have her gun on you?
Yeah.
She had her gun on her dress at an art museum.
I mean, wait, is she a cop now? Now that she's going to forensic science stuff? Did she forgo that?
You can still be a police officer and a CSI, can't you?
I mean,
I know that a lot of local police, like around us, like
do both.
We don't have CSI. They just do that. They swap like one piece of area for fingerprints. Like, couldn't find anything.
That's why so many unsolved murders in this area. But I don't know. I just think that's not why. I just think Barry was silly not to just be like, "Why are you calling me?"
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, he had to make a split decision. He heard that. He heard the fear in her voice. He's like, "Oh, I still love her," regardless of letting her go. She knew that. She was trying to prove it to him and prove that, hey, I know you're the Flash now. You're a liar. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. And she should have. She should have left.
Bye.
Good for her. She's a saint. A beautiful, beautiful saint. Next question.
Axe Abdi. I think we'll see Eobard at least a couple more times because he's yet to learn Barry's name. The reason his mom dies is because Eobard learns who Barry is. You guys agree?
We don't have to see him learn Barry's name.
I mean, he has to know where to go.
Yeah, but I mean,
you can't kill...
He could just find Gideon. Gideon tells everybody, Barry Allen, founding member of the Justice League, the Flash. You created me.
Well, he talks to Gideon. Why doesn't he just ask her?
Maybe Gideon just doesn't know yet. I don't know.
Yeah, well, the only time she said that was when Barry Allen was there talking to her. So I'm sure it's not like, "Hey, who made you?" Barry Allen, the Flash, founding member of the Justice League. He was born this day, at this time, at this location.
And he lives here. His mom does not run very fast. His dad is a pushover and will leave at the soonest time of trouble.
All right. Melee Hellbot. Q&A. Might post several questions since this episode brought a lot of possible theories and outcomes. This episode might have brought more proof that maybe Jay Garrick may be Zoom.
I agree, but don't think that that's the case.
We have yet to see Jay and Zoom in the same room together. Jay Garrick's the only one in the grave confirmed.
We have seen them together.
Also, it's almost too convenient that Jay knew almost everything about Barry and the group. Another possible theory is that Jay Garrick is actually Hunter Zolomon from Earth 2, and he assumed the identity of Jay Garrick when the Singularity appeared. The Hunter Zolomon from Earth 1 may actually be the OG Jay Garrick from Earth 2, who just wandered onto Earth 1 after losing his powers.
I wouldn't... I got a couple problems, just that, one, we have seen them together. They were in the when they looked at the wormhole in the second episode.
They were in the flashback that Jay told them about.
Okay. We had the same problem with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this season, right? We see something, a way it happens, and then we see additional footage that shows us different ways things happen. Mm-hmm. It's insanely rare, and I think insanely terrible, and very poor writing and production-wise to show fake footage like that. Because you feel cheap as a viewer whenever you go back and you're like, okay, well, why'd you show this? Like, well, that wasn't real. It's like, well, shit, nothing could be real then. It's got to be very consistent. It's got to be completely true or not true, what we actually see versus what we hear. If he had said, yeah, I fought Zoom, then I would lead more keep credence to this theory. But because we actually saw it, we saw the hat fly into it, and then we saw the hat fly out the season before, I think it's impossible, almost literally impossible for that to be fake.
Movies and shows have had success with telling a fake version of whatever's happening for the story's sake.
It depends on what you have to really pull out what they're doing in terms of
Desperado.
Why they're showing that. I never seen Desperado.
Desperado, you have Steve Buscemi come into a bar, tell this crazy story of this guy with this guitar case who had all these guns and shut up the bar because he couldn't find the information he wanted. And then he leaves, setting this fear, and then the guy walks in with that guitar case and everyone's like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, rules are meant to be broken by people that are good enough to break them. But for something like that, that require, huh?
It may have been true. He had a lot of guns still, but
okay, I'm just saying that require, even if that's the case, or you can find an example of something like that. It usually requires a self-contained story that a viewer that isn't super familiar with the show, and that's people, producers think about that kind of thing. They have to be able to go back and think, well, it's got to be self-contained. All right, I remember who was lying at that point, But with this being a serial television show, being week by week by week, it's going to be weird if we have to refer back to an episode. Oh, remember that? That was lying. We filmed it and showed it and did all the effects and everything too, but that was actually just a story that he was making up. I find it to be very, very, very poor. And I personally think it's almost impossible for that to be the case.
I hope it is now. I feel like we were right.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Henry Allen's it.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, Jay could be Zoom, maybe. I don't know. But I don't think that piece of footage was lying. Now, the last thing he said here, the Hunter Zolomon, what if Jay is actually Hunter Zolomon? He took Jay Garrick's name. I don't think that's possible either, because if they looked up at Jay Garrick in this universe like they did the last episode and they found one and looked nothing like him, they'd be like, what the fuck's going on? Mm-hmm. So I don't think that's the case.
I don't think so either. Phil6057, could Eobard Thawne be saying he knows what time Flash is from because he knows what age Flash could be around and he can go to the childhood and kill him? Also, Reverse Flash is another name for Professor Zoom.
I don't know. I mean, this is one of the things that we were confused by. Like, he kept saying, I know what time period you're from, Flash, Okay. I mean, isn't there a whole damn museum about me?
Yeah, right?
Like, when did Flash start glowing? That's probably where he's from.
Well, that's where he said he was at that, and he saw that I was a bad guy. I was in your Rogues Gallery, so I got to be a bad guy. Yeah. Well, why?
I mean, even if it's not common knowledge that was Barry Allen, which, I mean, if there's a Flash museum, does that mean Flash is dead? I don't know, but...
Well, there's a Flash Day, and he wasn't dead.
Well, yeah.
I mean, Martin Luther King Day is...
After he died.
Yeah.
What are you trying to say?
No, it's just...
I would say that it's still it's a little confusing, and I don't know. I feel like we still need to get Reverse Flash to decide to go back and try to I can't beat him, so I'm gonna go back and stop him from ever existing.
Yeah.
And then he gets stuck into well, crap. Now I'm stuck here. I have to make him Flash.
I think he's gonna go back in time to this time period where he thinks Flash is weaker.
Yeah.
Not as experienced, doesn't have the speed and whatnot, and he's gonna try to fight him here.
Maybe.
And then maybe he fails on that, and he figures out who he is, where his weakness is, and then he goes back and tries to kill them all.
Maybe. I mean, he seemed to only care to try to find out where he was from, because as soon as he found that out, he tried to leave.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yep. Kalen Cook. I found it interesting that Cisco had the scene with Eobard Thawne telling him that Cisco is the one that finds out who he is when he's undercover as Wells. Do you think the fact that Reverse Flash now has that foreknowledge of Cisco ultimately being part of his downfall, that he may alter the timeline in some way by trying to remove Cisco from the equation before the events of 115 out of time 120 the track? No. I don't think so. Because if that's the case, it should already be changing now, technically.
True. I think that we're following Legends of Tomorrow kind of rule set here, where like things very much have the ability to change.
Yeah.
The reason future Flash told past Flash to stop doing that was because it would have created some kind of flashpoint event that once solidified, like we've learned about, when the cement dries, you've screwed up forever, you know? I think that maybe future Flash came back to stop him because he knew he was going to do that. He's fixing something, right?
Yeah.
With the Cisco thing, we talked about how that scene, like, Cisco, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you talking to him? But he reveals to him that you helped me. You gave me this power.
Yeah.
But in season 1, Harrison Wells' Reverse Flash just he tells him he has realization you have a power, you know? Shouldn't he already know that if this had already happened? So I think that we're getting a little bit into the whole time paradox / cement not drying / a fucking singularity happened and flatten all these timelines.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing that we had happen as well is when Reverse Flash was trapped, couldn't get out of that cage thing.
Yeah.
We automatically started seeing Cisco disappearing because now Cisco couldn't be what he was because Reverse Flash never went back to do all the stuff he did.
Of course.
So if what he said to him was going to cause any drastic changes, I think we should have started to see that start to kind of accumulate as well, which we didn't see.
And this makes me think that if we actually went back to season 1, that scene would probably play out a little different. He would still try to kill Cisco and all that stuff would probably still happen, but I don't think he would be have the realization that you have powers.
Yeah.
I think we would be differently. So I don't think that we're following a timeline that must be kept completely strict, but Flashpoint events have to go down the way they were, or the entire universe will go crazy.
One of the big rules with time travel, too, typically, is also that time will often try to correct itself,
yes,
too.
Which that's what Rip Hunter talks about. We're going to be fighting time itself at some points.
Yeah. Well, that's what with their son, Hawkman and Hawkgirl.
Yes.
Their son still died because they were trying to change the time.
True.
But it was trying to correct itself. So you're going to see maybe some little things that might happen, but I think ultimately, unless you see a change starting in the time they're in, it's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
I think the main use of that scene was just to set up that Cisco was going to be disappearing because Cisco could not exist if Reverse Flash wasn't there to do what he did.
Obviously, the big piece of evidence here, and I'm so glad that we have Legends of Tomorrow to talk about now with us, is that certain events are just not important to the timeline.
Yeah.
Certain people are just not important. Reverse Flash and the way he goes back, like that Flashpoint event of saving Flash killing the mother, has to happen because that's integral to the timeline because Flash is.
Yeah.
The Cisco thing it's not integral if he tells him earlier that, hey, you have superpowers versus finding it out, but it is integral that the Reverse Flash be let go because he has to go back and that Flash
start all that stuff to happen, yeah.
So we have certain tiers of importance, and the timeline it's Play-Doh. It's not solid.
Well, the other thing we've learned too is that there's certain people that aren't important to the timeline as much as other people. That's why Legends of Tomorrow, they've all been chosen to do what they do.
Of course.
So Cisco must not be as important to the timeline because he was able to just go away while everyone else was just fine.
I agree.
So I think that's where we're at with that. Supernatural Cupcake. Would you guys rather have the powers of the Flash and do things really fast, but time moves the same as it always does, or the power to slow down time and just not have to worry about time as you go about your day-to-day life? So Turtle power versus Flash power. The thing about his power he set out like a pulse, right?
Yeah.
It didn't slow down everything, did it? Wasn't it everything inside his little pulse radius?
Well, yeah, it's only everything out. It's only whatever in his pulse
radius. In
his
bubble, right?
Yeah.
So does everything else outside of that go the same speed?
I think so. Now,
so everyone else is slowed down, but time's not slowed down.
Time isn't slowed down.
So you could still be late. Just everyone else around you's late too.
True. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, but I just be on time. I mean, honestly, if I had to make a choice, I'd probably pick Flash power because you can do a lot more with it. And if I remember correctly,
Turtle can't run up a building.
Well, he can't do that. He can't do anything special other than just slow things down.
He walks around and slows everyone down, yeah.
But inside his little bubble, remember he shot the chandelier and it came falling down? The bullet didn't slow down. could he control what doesn't slow down? Because he created the bubble, the Flash got stuck, and then he shot the chandelier in front of him, and the bullet went fine, and then the chandelier was falling, and then it hit the bubble, and it was going slower. But the bullet inside the bubble had no problem going fast. Just thought it was weird. I just remembered that when I was editing it. I'm like, what's going on?
That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
But yeah, I'll go Flash's power just because you can do more with it.
Yeah, me too. And then I can leave like a minute till I gotta be somewhere and still be on time.
Yeah.
Whereas if I leave a minute with a turtle, everyone with me is just late.
Especially if can't Flash like think at that speed as well. I don't know if Barry has done it yet in the show, but I think like his potential is that he can actually think that fast.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting. That would be helpful too.
In the turtle, he can't go up buildings. He can't go through time. He can't do any of that kind of stuff. You know. He could like slow down a bullet and I guess still, but I like the Flashes.
Yeah, and you can phase and you can fucking fly and
that's so much better. That's better than everything.
A little bit.
Z-Bruta, do you think Iris will die?
No, she's in game, unfortunately.
Time could change though, right? Or is that like a fixed point, you think?
I mean, it's got to be some kind of fixed point because Harrison Wells was so adamant that article was in the paper last season, written by Iris Allen, right? Like he knew everything was okay with the time stream as long as that article appeared.
Yeah.
And once it didn't appear, he started freaking out. So I'd assume that Iris is probably very important to that. I mean, it could have played out differently, yeah, but I think that she's definitely in-game last season material.
I want Patty. Dang it.
Me too, but I don't think it's the case.
Jake Long, do you guys think there will be a point where Barry, Zoom, and Reverse Flash are all in the past? And Barry? Patty?
Yeah, Barry.
Barry has to choose between stopping Zoom, who's about to kill his dad, or stop Reverse Flash, who's about to kill his mom. I don't know, just a theory why he tells Barry not to save his mom.
That would be silly. I mean, we haven't seen anything like that in the
Where'd
last
the dad
season.
go?
Huh?
Where'd the dad go during that? Because he was there. He got knocked out, didn't he?
Yeah, he got knocked out.
So he was like sitting there in the room.
He went to prison.
Well, yeah, but he was.
Yeah, he got knocked out.
So he was just there in the room. So like now Zoom shows up. Reverse Flash is there. No, I don't think.
By the time we get to season 10, there's like 50 speedsters in there all doing shit, and trying to kill his grandma and his dog, and taking his toys. No! Barry's fighting every single one of them throughout time. It's craziness, Aaron.
All right. Here are you 3. For Cisco, I believe that if they kept Thawne locked up, he would have never gone back in time, to become Wells, kick off the particle accelerator, which gave Cisco his powers. So the metahuman Cisco wouldn't exist. Maybe his powers are the reason he didn't disappear immediately like Thawne in season 1.
I think it's one of those things where, like, an action or an event causes a certain kind of ripple in the time stream. Like, the bigger and more final the event, the more likely it's going to dry, as they use that analogy, quicker. So, like, trying to change something like like the Vandal Savage taking over the world, you have a lot more time to fix that, trying to whenever you have the thing going on with Reverse Flash being locked up, you have more time to fix that.
Yeah.
Less time than something as big as that, right?
Yeah.
And then Eddie killing himself, I think that happens immediately. One, because I don't think they really thought it through in the beginning, but two, it's a finalized death. He's dead. You can't change that.
Yeah, unless you go back in time again to go and
stop
fix
him.
it. Yeah, so
like everything else has like you could change this because it's a huge amount of time and circumstance.
So Reverse Flash wasn't dead right then.
No.
He was trapped. So you could let him out and everything stays the same, but you could keep him there and then things.
But with Eddie, he shot and he died, and as soon as he died, it happens because you can't fix that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is. It dried immediately.
The one thing with the Cisco thing is that if Reverse Flash never goes back, never does all this stuff with the accelerator, Barry shouldn't have powers. Like, a lot of things should be different. Well, but with that, though, the ripple you were talking about, Cisco's the first thing to get hit with that, and then it was kind of going on out from there, But, I mean, if they did that, then Firestorm wouldn't exist, Like, a lot of things would be different. Captain Cold wouldn't exist either then, right? Because if Cisco died, he wouldn't be able to make the gun. And
I think that it seems to me that the particle accelerator is a universal or multi-universal event because it happened in both Earths. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that is, as a Time Master would say, integral to the timeline.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can necessarily, like, I don't think the universe would let you stop that. It just had to have happened, and it's happened in different ways.
Are there Time Masters, do they watch all the universes, or is there a Time Master group for like each universe?
I'd have to imagine there's one for each universe that they can't cross that specific stream. Is what I would guess.
Maybe they have like a council for all of them, but then there's like one Time Master per each universe that covers like, you know what I mean?
Possibly
something like that. Because that's still it's infinite number of Time Masters. No, you know what I mean?
I think that dealing with time in your own universe already. I mean, if this is going a little bit off case, but if they were able to go for the other universes that they didn't care about, they could go and like steal doppelgangers and try to fix
their universe
and patch things up, you know, and try to make things integral to the timeline that aren't. So I would prefer story-wise and going forward, let's keep the Time Masters dealing in time and not space.
Yeah. Ravens fan, if you guys had superpowers, would you keep it a secret from everybody, or would you tell close friends and family?
I'd keep it a secret from everybody.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Why?
It's the same thing if I won the lottery.
You just wouldn't tell anybody?
Well,
Didn't they put that in the news?
Well, they have to, but weirdly, I've researched this. You can create a trust company with a lawyer's help and have the trust company actually claim the prize. I also think there's like 14 states in the United States that you don't have to claim as well. But the thing is that the more likely, if you win a lottery, you're like 50 times more likely to be murdered. You know, people will hate you. They won't love you. They'll hate you because you have more money than them. If you give it, you know, there's all these different. There's this one Reddit post that goes over like, this is what you would do. You have to do this. If you don't, you could die or lose everything, right? I think it's the same way with superpowers. When you have a superpower, you usually attract a supervillain.
Yeah.
And when you're doing those things, you're much more likely to be hurt or killed or get your friends killed.
So would you use it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
But you're bound to get caught.
Yeah, but I'd use it for, like, paying next month's rent.
What power are you taking?
Huh?
Like, your speed? You have a speed power, so you just
we've talked
down real quick so you pay it.
No, we've talked about this before. If I had to pick a power, it would be Hiro Nakamura's power, stopping time, and then I'd go around and just take $1 from everybody. But to be fair,
no sense.
If I was Flash, I could probably do the same thing if I ran fast enough. It was taking people's money before they noticed. Yeah.
So you'd be like the Flash from Smallville, right? Wasn't he like a pickpocket and stuff?
Yeah. Yeah. Just you go to his apartment and he has all school stuff. But I mean, honestly, I would, because I wouldn't like rob a bank or anything.
You wouldn't tell me?
Huh?
You wouldn't tell me you have powers? What if we fought crime together, Eric?
Why are you gonna fight crime? You don't have power.
What? No, like, what would I do?
What would you do?
I don't know. But
hold my shit.
We both have powers. See, if you guys had superpowers, so we both have powers. We go fight crime together.
I wouldn't tell you, and you wouldn't tell me, and eventually we would come to blows. We would think that we were so fucking confident because, like, oh, I got a power, he doesn't fucking know. And then you have a power, and I don't know.
We would become each other's arch
enemies. We're not ready to fight, and then all of a sudden, like, you have a power. This is so awesome!
We're like wearing masks, running around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We end up becoming arch enemies.
Yeah.
And then we realize who each other are.
But no, I wouldn't tell anybody. Just like if maybe I did win the lottery. I haven't told you guys.
You didn't.
If I did, we would be in a much bigger studio,
right? This place would be. We have tons more shelves.
Yeah.
We're like, look at all
I'd
this.
be giving viewers gifts.
Look at this here. You win this.
Yeah.
Alrighty, that'd be fun. I don't know.
But you know what? If I did win the lottery, I'd be doing the same damn thing as we're doing right now. That, kids, is how you know that you like what you do.
I wouldn't tell my family, especially if I was a speedster.
Yeah.
Because then if I went around and cleaned the house, she wouldn't expect that of me all the time.
Yeah, but no, she wouldn't expect it all the time. But you did it so quick and it's done. Like,
wow,
that's a blowjob right there. You do that like 3 or 4 times a month. I mean, you could capitalize on that.
True. However, with sex though, with the speed force and the vibration or whatever, I wonder if like she'd catch on.
You can make it a little better.
Just like a little bit better, not a lot better. But no, I don't think depending on what the power was.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd tell my family.
Yeah.
I might tell like you guys.
I feel good about that, but.
All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap up this Q&A that we had for Flash. We have another episode coming out tonight, so make sure you guys watch that on the CW. And then tune back in here for our reaction review discussion on the newest episode. Don't know what it's named. I don't even remember the number of it, but we're going to watch it.
12?
12?
12, yeah.
All right, guys, make sure you hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button. Check out blindwave.net for everything Blindwave. And all of our social media links down in the description below. All right, guys, that's it. So until next time, I'm Aaron.
I'm Eric.
And we'll see you guys next time. Eric, hit the button.
You did that fast.
What?
You told me to hit the button.
I just felt like it was reverse day.